there. It is a process, because when you come to understand that without it for so long, you come accustomed to just drinking a cup of water a day, which is definitely not good at all. Because water, 75% of your body, our bodies, is made up of water, and we got to have water. It is imperative for your organs to function properly, and et cetera, et cetera. So with that being said, it's important that we take care of our bodies. You can't just focus on taking care of your ruach without taking care of your physical man as well. Now, I know sometimes we take that and we do it the other way. We sometimes focus too much on our physical man and not on our ruach. But this was a thing that we needed to bring balance in. And so we started with making sure we were getting enough of water. From there, the feast rolled around, and we took that time to celebrate Passover. And from Passover, we went into unleavened bread, which is up for us onto Yom. And I appreciate the Abba. And it taught us discipline, and it really challenged us time. So with that being said, I just want you all to know we've not left Facebook, not yet. But there is coming a time that I believe that we will no longer be on here. And that's when the Abba says, why? Because there are things that we must do. And you've heard me say this, and I'll continue to say it. It's time to prepare. And I'm talking about it's time to prepare in a manner that you are making decisions, making choices about your future. And if you have a family, you're making those changes, choices for your family. And some of those choices might be, relocating. Some of those choices may be buying or even selling what you have to make sure that you are not in the path of destruction. And so there are things that we as a people must trying to keep up with current events and with the things that are going on dealing with our people. This is important for us because as we get to really look at what's going on in other places concerning our people, it'll give us a better sense of what's going on, instead of just saying, oh, that's them, us, and they're over there, and that's why it's happening to them. Understand something. They are. Eventually, it is going to come to us because we are the people. He is not going to punish, or he's not going to get one set of people, and they are the people, in another place because they're not doing right, and then let us get by when we know we could surely be doing so much better. God. With living, truly building healthy relationships with one another. And I say this truthfully, building healthy relationships, and not just on social media. We got to understand there's coming a time, and that time is quickly, that some of the things we do now, we're not going to be able to do. Beginning April 16th, we will no longer be able to do watch parties. So they're going to remove that. So if you were one that enjoyed doing watch parties, that option is not going to be available anymore on Facebook. So it's important that we make the connections. And when we make the connections for the right reason. For the right reasons. And so that is so important for us as a people to understand. And like I say, we have been still yet working and doing what we're supposed to do, planning, storing up. And I pray that you're doing the same thing as well. I'm just kind of giving you an overview of the things that we've been doing. So when you don't see us, and as I said before, there'll be times that we will come on later. Why? Because there are things that we're doing during the early part, so that when we come on, we're able to give you our undivided attention, and then we're not going to rush it. That's one thing about if you've been in my class, I will not rush it. Whatever he gives me, I will give to you. And so that's what we do. You don't want to get somewhere, because if you go to, okay, it keeps pausing. That's just them. That's why I say, y'all, I need y'all praying, and I need y'all to understand they're doing it because of the information that I'm bringing. It's going to constantly do that. My internet is supposed to be the fastest internet you can get. And I know they're doing this. Why? Because they don't want the information that the Abba has given to me to get out. It's breaking up. It's not flowing right. That's to discourage you from staying in. That's to discourage being able to listen, because it's like it's too choppy. But we got to rebuke the enemy so that which the Abba would have for us can come forward. And then there will be things that and that have stuck and stayed with us during our changes and during the challenging times of our lives, to let you know things that we'll be doing, but it will not be on social media. It will not be open for everybody else. So those are some of the things that's going on. And I say this because you must understand we are Habyah. You are our mishpachah, and you are in our prayers daily. There's coming a time that change is going to have to be, because even as we speak, there are changes and there are things that are happening. I'm not sure, but I pray that those of you that know what's going on, what Biden did, grant money to the Mexicans. And so because he has done that, you must understand that gives them, now hear me well, that gives them an advantage that we never had. That gives them an advantage. Am I saying that we should fight for reparations from them? Absolutely not. So please don't take what I'm saying and misconstrue it. I'm just, once again, just kind of filling you in with the things we've been doing. We've been doing research. We've been watching a lot of documentaries concerning the teachings that I'm bringing, unmasking. So current events are important for us to understand where we are. There, I have a saying here. You got to have evidence, proof, and then you need witnesses. We have evidence. We have what is being done and what I am saying here. This is what is important. So with that being said, it is important that you understand when that money was released into their hands, that right there knocked us down again, down the chain. It's knocked us down. We are not considered a people. Here we go. We're not considered important. So we are a people. They do not want to accept that we're the chosen. So with that being said, you're going to have people that say, well, why do, this is what they'll say, Black people feel like they're entitled to anything. But it's okay to give people that were immigrants illegally over here, give them legal rights, even without legalizing them first, and then give them money and say it's okay. But then when things happen to us, we're crying, we're whining, and we should get over it. Y'all wake up and realize what's going on, what is going to happen to us as a people. Many of us are going to, when you don't see us or we come on at a different time, understand we're doing legwork behind the scenes. Every great journalist knows that there are times you sit before the camera and then there are times you get out in the field. I'm not a journalist, I'm a more. And so when I get out there, understand I'm doing research. I'm not just researching, but I'm praying and I'm asking the Abba, show us, Abba Yahuwah, what we need to do and how we need to do it. Because we are in and getting into some very, very dangerous. And so it is important for us to understand these things. And like I said, this is where the true believers are going to be separated from those that have just been following along just for the ride. Because it ain't about to get tight. It's already tight. It's already tight. So I pray that you will continue to pray with us, continue to walk with us, and continue to be patient with us as these things are going on. And as I go grab information, surely I'm going to bring it back to you so that I can give to you what he gives to me so that you can understand what's going on in this time. Now, as you see, at Revelations chapter 17, this thing here. See if my thing is trouble. Now we're going to go to Revelation 17, chapter 17. And I noticed that it's gonna cut out, but I say stick with me, don't quit me, pray with us, because it's constantly doing that. But once again, I know why. And so if you understand why too, I pray that you pray and not allow it to discourage you. And you start feeling like this don't make no sense. I don't want to keep going through this. And I'm trying to watch it, and because I understand how that can be, kind of nerve-wracking. You're trying to hear, and every time something is being said, it's like it's breaking up and it's choppy. But the important thing is that we understand what's going on. Now, with that being said, we're going to go into chapter 17 of Revelations. It's chapter 17, and I'm going to see if I can pull it up on my big screen. Do this one, please. And that way, like I say, because I want to inform you of what's going on and help my third young classes, Torah Empower. Sharia law, the Sharia law is the Quran. The Sharia law is the condensed form of the Sharia law. Of the Quran is a condensed, the Sharia law is a condensed form of the Quran. That's what I'm saying. And so it is important that we understand certain laws that have already, but if we don't know what's going on and don't understand that this is a part of scripture that's taking place, then we are going to find ourselves in a very, very bad predicament. And so with that being said, we want to turn our attention to no, I don't.
And it is so.
All right. And there are 18 verses. I'm going to allow everybody to read 2 verses, please. I can't. When it's charging, I can't do anything with it. Okay. All right, y'all, bear with me. I'm looking, I'm using tablet, and my tablet sometimes get to acting like the internet stupid. All right.
And there came one of the 7 Malak, which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show you the judgment of the great whore that sits upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. And it is so.
And it is so. All right, let's read. We're going to read this whole chapter, and then we're going to go in and I'm going to discuss it. I'm going to let the reading take place first.
And he, 3 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
And he carried me away in the Ruach into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast, covered with names of blasphemy, scarlet, and adorned with gold and precious stones and pearls, holding in her hand a golden cup filled with abominations, and with the filthiness of her whoring.
Yes, keep reading.
And upon her forehead a name of the horrors and of the abominations of the erect.
It is so. All right, let's finish reading.
I saw that the woman was drunk with the blood of the believers, the blood of those who bore testimony to you. When I saw her, I was greatly astonished. And the Malak said to me, Why are you astonished? I will explain to you the mystery of the woman and the beast she rides, which has the 7 heads and 10 horns. And it is so.
And it is so. All right, let's keep reading.
8 and 9.
Mm-hmm.
The beast that you saw was and is not, and is about to come up out of the abyss and go to destruction. Those who was and is not and will again be present. This calls for an understanding mind.
Mm-hmm.
The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman is seated. They are also 7 kings.
Mm-hmm.
And it is so.
And it is so. All right, give us your verse, please, when you read.
Verse 10 and 11.
Mm-hmm.
And the other is not yet come. And when he come, he must continue a short space.
It is so. All right, let's read. Coming back to you, please. Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you need? Mm-mm. We're in 12 and 13, right? 12 and 13.
And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto woman, were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent. And it is so.
And it is so. All right, let's read.
14 and 15.
15.
15, because you read 14. Okay.
I mean, it's a bit different.
That's fine.
And verse 16, and the 10 horns which you saw on the beast, these shall hate the whore, and lay her waste, and naked, and eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. And it is so.
And it is so. All right, the last two verses, 17 and 18.
17. For Yahuwah has put it into their hearts to accomplish his purpose by agreeing to give the beast their power to rule.
Mm.
Until Yahuwah.
And it is so. All right. Now we're going to look at this and I'm going to flesh it out. I'm going to put some flesh on it. And as we flesh this out, I pray that everyone will listen attentively and that you will hear what's being said. Revelations, people start getting a little skittish and people start thinking, Revelations? Oh, no, I ain't ready for Revelations yet. I ain't ready for all that. But y'all, ready or not, it's already here on us. And so there are things that we need to look at. Proof, evidence, witnesses. And no matter what, this is always, when you're looking in the writings and you're trying to substantiate something, one thing about the writings, the scripture is going to always do. Now we're going to go back to verse 1. Then one of the 7 angels who had the 7 bowls came and talked with me, saying to me, come, I will show you the judge. Before we go all the way into that, I want to read something to you. Just something briefly. Can you pull it up for me, please? You know the one, Rome. And many times we want to make sure that the information we get, it lines up completely, not just resembles it just a little bit. We got to have it all. Now, what I want to do is I want to show that this is not speaking about Rome. This is speaking about another place. And so Revelations will have a mind and we'll have a visualization of what's taking place. Like I said, when we were in Christianity, we always thought Revelations was talking about Roman Catholicism, but there are things that don't add up. There are things that do not make the equation correct. There is not enough evidence and there's not enough of proof and there are not enough witnesses to testify of this. Somebody will say, but how is that so? It is so evidence that it does not fit. It doesn't matter if the person get their foot in the shoe, is if they can fit the shoe. Because just because a person can put their size 12 in a 7, get the toes in there, doesn't mean that they can fit the shoe. It just means they can get partially in there.
That's right.
So we can't do that. Now I want to read this once again to you from ancient Rome. Let's see. All right, ancient Rome. What is geography? Geography is the study of physical features of the earth and its atmosphere, the study of its people, earth, and environment. Back and show you the place that is where we will see where the anti-Mashiach will come from. You will see the evidence fits the scriptures and not just partially, but completely. All right. Now, it is near the Mediterranean Sea. Italy is 600 miles long and 150 miles wide. The bodies of water are the Adriatic Sea, the Ionian Sea, and the Mediterranean Sea. The types of river is the Tiber, what is that? Tiber River and the Po River, Danube. Rhine River, Nile River, Black Sea, Euphrates areas are the Tuscan Plains in the north. Drained by the Po River were fertile farming region. The water supply of fresh water is essential for all life, people, animals, and crops. The river provides means for trade and transportation. The Rome was built 15 miles inland. Okay, that's just what it says. The protection, the Rome forests of oak and chestnut. The first thing we look at are certain signatures, seven hills. So automatically we think, oh, that is it. That's it. That has to be there. It says 7 hills, but the writing says 7 what? Look at this. Now, Legends and facts shape Rome's early history. Rome's geography encouraged the growth of Roman civilization. Roman society benefited from the hard work and discipline of Roman farmers. Rome's ships could sail to other lands surrounding the Mediterranean, helped in conquering new territories, developing trade routes out Alpines mountains protected Rome, but did not isolate it. Italy's large plains made farming easier than in Greece. Now that's the geography of ancient Rome. Once again, let's look at this. Ancient Rome crops, 90% of the Romans lived by farming. Farms grew wheat, rye, barley, olives, grapes, etc., etc. I'm reading this to you for a reason. Now I want to get down here. Let's see. All right. Now, in the beginning of the 8th century BC, ancient Rome was a small town of Italy near the Tiber River. The Empire Peak was mostly Europe, Britain, Western Asia, Northern Africa, and the Mediterranean islands. The language, after 450 years as a republic, Rome became an empire in the wake of Julius Caesar, rise and fall in the 1st century BC. Now, in 735 BC was the founding of Rome by Romulus, was the first of 7 kings until 715 BC. It's so close that you will be thinking, this has to be the people. There's no way that Rome does not fit the description. Are y'all following me?
Yeah.
But I'm going to read something else to you to show you that they do not. Now, Adjunus Brutus expels the Etruscans from Rome and found the Republic. The roads lead to Rome. In 260 BC, the Romans expanded by defeating the Carthaginians. All right, now I read that all to you for this reason. Because many times, once again, in order to substantiate the truth, you got to also read what is the lie. You got to show the difference and you got to show it. Now, we're back in Revelations chapter 17. Now, let's read. Once again, I'm going to go back through it again. Chapter 17, verse 1. And then one of the 7 angels came, who had the 7 bowls, came and talked with me, saying to me, come, I will show you the judgment of the great harlot who sits on many waters. Many references to the seas around. Does Rome sit on many waters? No, Rome does not sit on many waters. Rome sits on waters, plural, but not many waters. Okay. Now, Rome has only one ocean, the Mediterranean. The prophecy fails with Rome. I read to you back into reading the writings, because I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna read to you the Arab League, and I want to show you the true harlot is surrounded by the waters that the true harlot is surrounded by. All right, in verse 2. Now y'all bear with me because I'm reading this off of the phone, because my tablet is it's acting a little silly. All right, now sits upon many waters. Now, the great whore is Saudi Arabia that sits around many seas. Now, this is where I need a big map, but I'm going to show you with what I do have. Now, see all this around Saudi Arabia. You see that? I'm going to bring it to you too. Okay. Can y'all see that? Oh, Jonathan, that's too close in. That's just too close. All right. Now, if you can see that, I'm sorry I have to do it like this, y'all, but I want you to see it. I know. Now, you see all this. These are many seas. You'll see that? Not a few, many. Now, take that over there for me and put it to there so we can show it over there too. All right. Everybody got to see that. I know it might have been small. When I show it to you, it's kind of like I had to turn it. It's in the east, and it's this is the East and Central Asia. Okay, this is where we saw that on. Now, I want to also read to you, because have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the province of the east have been made drunk. Now, we always hear Middle East, but once again, middle from what?
Right.
Middle from what? It is the east. It is in Revelations chapter 11 and verse 10. I have this here. Now, you can do, just give me a moment. Like I said, I'm navigating through a phone on my computer. This one will go poops on me. All right. Let's see. In a moment. Thank you. All right. Let me get there. I want to read this footnote to you to bring some clarity to that verse. Okay. What we were just talking about. Why is it important that we have clarity? Bear with me. Now, east. I want you to hear this. Hear the Hebrew word eretz. Eretz. The Hebrew word eretz. Only and not the entire world.
God.
So he's not talking about the entire world in that verse, okay?
God.
That's important. Why is that important? In Revelations chapter 17, we were in verse 2. Verse 2, with whom the sovereigns of the Arabs committed whoring, and the inhabitants of the Arabs were made drunk with the wine of her whoring. Now, it's important, once again, that we understand that's talking about a province and not the entire world. Now, when we go back to Revelations chapter 17, and we go back and we can be reading, once again, give me a second to get there because of my tablet. But let's get there. Let's get there. Go back with me to chapter 17, and we're going to read this, and we're going to take it piece by piece, if possible.
And it is so.
All right. Now, once again, now, inhabitants of the province of the Middle East have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Once again, here the Hebrew word eretz, which is behind the Greek word gi, means a province only and not the entire world. Now, as we read in verse 3, and sitting upon a scarlet colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Now, I want to stop for a moment in verse 3 when it says full of names of blasphemy. If you've ever heard anybody talk about the Quran, at the back of the Quran, in the Quran, there are 99 names that blaspheme the name of Abba Yahuwah. Roman Catholicism that Jesus, the name Jesus was introduced Greek. Not minimizing that, but we can't find to substantiate that that Roman Catholicism has all of these names that are blasphemy. Am I making sense?
Come.
Okay. Now, let's read. Now, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Now, let's see what those 10 horns are. Islam in the spirit to the desert. The Greek word used here is eremos, meaning a desert, and this is the clue that rules all European theories out. He saw the woman symbolic for a city, and normally the Greek word polis is used. In Hebrew, the word Eri, or Eri, E-E-Y-R, I believe that's Eri. And in Arabic, the word Medina is used. But the more correct word in the Arabic is the word to designate an area or a district, province, range, or even a country. So this place is close to the sea and right in the desert, and it fits Saudi Arabia perfectly. As I showed you on the map, it sits perfectly. Now, that's proof and that's evidence. The issue comes in when trying to use Rome. Rome does not fit the description because Rome does not sit, is not seated in. We tried to look and see if it was near the desert, couldn't find any proof or evidence that Rome was near a desert to basically say that Rome was that close to the desert area. Are y'all following me? All right. Now, once again, it is important that we understand that this place is close to the sea and right in the desert, and it fits Saudi Arabia perfectly. This is the perfect place, or correctly mean a country rather than a city, because Saudi Arabia rides the beast, not just the city of Mecca. The word for Medina would also correctly resemble this province or this province. So it's important that we understand once again what is being said in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon, the Great, and the mother of harlots and abominations. And we're going to go back into the book because I want to show you the areas of the, no, before I do that, let me stop, let me slow down. Before I do that, I want to read to you the Arab League. Why is that important for us to understand the Arab? The importance of understanding the Arab League is because all of these places are saturated with Muslims. This is when it says province, these are Muslim provinces. These are places that Muslims live, police, and they are the ruling people of these places.
Right.
Are y'all following me? The Arabian Sea, Red Sea, Gulf of Aden, Gulf of Oman, Mediterranean Sea, Caspian Sea, Black Sea. This does this not look like many waters? Now, when we many seas, not just a few, but many. Once again, when you do the comparison, yes, Rome has a sea, but not many seas.
Right.
And that's when we have to rule Rome out, because it does not fit the description. It does not pay attention to the text and try to spiritualize this. How many times have we say, well, because of the description? Well, you see the Pope with purple on. Y'all, we got to get out of trying to interpret things by the way they look, instead of interpreting by the interpret and to give it credence. Because if we can't, then there's no reason to. Because then we're just pulling stuff because that's what. Now we're going to go back into reading, and I want to read this to you. I want somebody to get Nahum 3 and 4, chapter 3, verse 4. Now, this is the whore of Babylon, Mystery Babylon, Saudi Arabia, who sells nations oil, and through the sales and exports the false religion of Islam as true. Now, somebody would say, but in movies, and even if you just go out and you go wherever there's a mosque or wherever there are people, Muslims out, when it is time for them to respect to them in their time of prayer. Why? Because people believe that the Islamic religion is one to be respected. It's the truth. People will stop what they're doing to respect them in a time of prayer. Because people believe that that's the truth. A projected outlook for, I think it is either 2024, on what religion would be the ruling religion before me. And Islam is the one that is going to be the religion before it's over with. They are going to be the ruling religion. That tells me if they've already projected this, they already have things in place that's going to basically to substantiate their projection. Because believe it or not, there are many people defecting from Christianity, even from our way of walk, the only true way of walk, to go and be Muslims, to become a part of Islam. Are y'all hearing me? Exactly. They got designated times. You go talk about praying. You go talking about, I have to keep the Sabbath, and I know me. But they give credence and they give respect because this is what is pushed. Now listen at this. And they sell nations oil. Rome doesn't sell anybody anything. Rome does not sell anybody anything. But they sell oil, which also is known as black gold,
Con.
as witchcraft, and Nahum 3 and 4. Anybody has that for me?
Con.
Come on, read that for me.
Nahum chapter 3, verses 4. Should I start at verse 3?
Mm-hmm.
Charging cavalry, flashing swords, and glittering spears. Many casualties, piles of dead. Bodies with alluring the mistress of sorceries, who enslaved nations by prostitution. And it is so.
And it is so. Read that again. Read it loud.
Charging cavalry, flashing swords, and glittering spears.
Mm-hmm.
Many casualties, piles of dead. Bodies without number. People stumbling over the corpses. All because of the wanton lust of a harlot, alluring, the mistress of sorceries, who enslaved nations by her prostitution and peoples by her witchcraft. And it is so.
And it is so. The writers call it witchcraft. Call it witchcraft. 3 and 4. Did everybody hear that? May everybody understand that? Once again, sorcery. Sorcery, it's witchcraft. The mistress of, now this is what it reads: lots of dead bodies and no end of corpses. They stumble over the corpses because of the many whorings of the well-favored whore, the mistress of sorceries, who sails nations by her whorings and clans by her sorceries. It says here, a queen of witchcraft. This is witchcraft. To grab people. Then you got to understand, because okay, thank you. Now, you have to understand the importance into believing that this is the right way. But you got to understand something. Many countries and many people accept this because they understand unless we get that oil, we cannot function. We cannot function. And so in order to function, we have to, follow their scheme. We got to follow their plan. Because if we don't do it, we won't be able to be sustained. We won't be able to maintain our quality of life. We won't be able to do anything without that oil. Now, I want to read you this. Why Muslims are the world's fastest growing century or so. Christianity's long reign as the world's largest religion may come to an end, according to a just released report that builds on Pew Research Center's original population growth projects for religious groups. Indeed, Muslims will grow more than twice as fast as the overall world population between 2015 and 2060. A model or a plan based on proof. Okay. So it's important that we understand that. All right, now. Is projected to grow 32% in the coming decades. The number of Muslims is expected to increase by 70% from 1.80 billion in 2015 to nearly 3 billion in 2060. In 2015, Muslims are expected to make up more than 3 in 10 of the world's people. That's 31.1%. Simple demographics. To begin with, Muslims, the 7 other major religious groups analyzed in the study. Muslim women have an average of 2.9 children. I don't know how that happens. Muslims 2.2. In all major regions where there is a sizable Muslim population, Muslims' fertility exceeds non-Muslims' fertility. Now listen at this. The growth of the Muslim population also is helped by the fact that Muslims have the youngest all major religious groups, more than 7 years younger than the median age of non-Muslims, which is 32. Now listen at this. A large share of Muslims will soon be at the point in their lives when people begin having children. This, combined with high fertility rates, will accelerate Muslim population growth. Now, I tend to agree, but I also disagree. Because you got to understand one thing about this folk. To live by it, and they're going to enjoy it, or they will lose their lives. Are y'all following me? All right, now listen at this. More than a third of Muslims are concentrated in Africa and where what we call the Middle East. This is where they're concentrated. That are projected to have the biggest population increases. But even within these high growth regions, as well as others, Muslims are projected to grow faster than members of other groups and have higher fertility than the overall population of the region. Are y'all hearing me?
God.
Now, with that being said, you must understand many of those that are in these regions and in these places, y'all, it is they go in and they take over. Of course, they're going to be their population is going to be higher because they're going to remove many of the other people.
God.
So, honey. Now, once again, with that being said, it is important, like I said, that we understand things that are taking place. This is not haphazard. This is biblical.
God.
It's prophetic. And we got to listen to it. And we can't just take it lightly. Now, listen what it says. The mystery existed only as long as Islam had not been birthed and was not revealed. Verse 5. Now, we go to verse 5 in chapter 17. Name written, mystery. Those are names. It's not a sentence that we keep going. Y'all follow what I'm saying?
God.
It gives us the description and the names of the Yashralite Keshem, and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahuwah. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And the heavenly messenger said to me, why did you marvel? Now let's go back at verse 6. And I saw the woman drunk with the blood of the Yashralite Kadeshim, the set apart ones. Who killed our people more than anybody else? Yes. Now I know, understand, I am not dismissing what European people have done. But I'm talking about those that have come in and have devastated and still continue to devastate our people. We were watching a documentary side of the Sahara Desert, right in the area where our people are. And over there, they still, our people still die at their hands. Our people are still put in situations to where they can and will lose their life if they speak out against Islam. Well, in that documentary, there were many things that were taking place, but the things that times credence or exposure is not given, we tend to believe that everything is everything, and it is not.
God.
Our people are over there living in bondage. They're living as slaves. And you see, even in the documentary, they say, we're not their equals. We are treated as slaves. We're not freemen here. We can't do the same things that everybody whole villages. And we're talking about a whole our people, nations of people there, our people, nobody else.
God.
That have to walk around, under the subjection of these Islamic people. Now the issue comes in once again. We tend to believe that everything is everything. But then when we are exposed to it, then the writings make more sense to us. Who is really drunk off the blood of the Yashralites? It's not Rome.
Right.
It is not Rome. It is the Muslim. It is the Islamic people. The man was going and he was interviewing different ones. And the people had already said, if we are caught speaking with you, we could lose our lives. They said there are things that we cannot. There were just other people, but they tried to be discreet in what they were saying, but they wanted the word to get out so that people could understand their suffering. Now, y'all, you got to understand, many times when people go over and they're just doing something, this journalist who did it, in my opinion, he could have done it better.
Right.
Because the man that was there that was talking to him, he told him, he said, understand something. He said, basically, if I talk to you and it gets out, president, I am the president of this place. I am going to be the liberator of this people. Now, this is where my issue came in with the journalist. He put it up before.
God.
how come our people are at odds with each other, because of the split. That's how come we became two houses and we're no longer one.
Right.
So we became enemies with Yehuda. Are y'all following me?
Right.
And that hate, and when I say hatred, that bitterness towards one another is real.
Right.
And this is why the Abba correct. You know, they're probably, well, you got to show me in the writings. You don't pick up a rattlesnake and nuzzle it. Then why would you know a people when it speaks of them in the writings and tells us in the scripture, these people have an ancient hatred for us, try to love a people. That's important for us to understand. All right. Now, is more correctly translated near rather than on. So when you read in verse 10, now let's go back into the right, with whom the kings of the earth committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth were made drunk with the wine of her fornication. The kings of the earth refer to the merchants buying oil, and the fornication represents that they have sold Islam as a peaceful, good religion to their people. It is the truth. You can't deny it. If you start looking at the different countries that uphold it, even if you look in America, states uphold the Sharia law. That's their way of agreeing with Muslim or the Islamic religion.
Right.
That's their way of believing and supporting it. Are y'all following me? Yo, it's important that we give credence and we give ear to the writings, because the writings do not lie. We are looking at what's going on around us, things that are on the outskirts of us, because we tend to believe at times it's not going to affect us, but it's already affecting us, whether you want to believe it or not. It's affecting us. Anything that affects our people, whether they're here or across the seas, y'all, it affects us, because the whole thing is to bring us under subjection to the Islamic way, to the Islamic way. Now, once again, this is talking about the merchants that laid with her to get oil, and to promote this as a peaceful, good religion to their people. Now, with that being said, if you remember 9/11, when they bombed the Twin Towers, if you notice, they were in a time of deliberating, concerning putting a mosque there, to put a mosque there. They said if we don't do it, or back in that time, because that's what they got into it to do. They fully understand we're the only one that are able to make us believe that it's peaceful, because we don't see the evidence. But now we have the proof, the evidence, and the witnesses to prove that this is not a peaceful religion. It is not. These people over there, once again, I can't remember where it was, but I know it was in Africa, went to jail. Our people went to jail, went to prison, because they spoke out against it. They don't have freedom of speech over there. And eventually we won't have it over here. Are y'all following me? I knew I was going to do that on this one. All right. Now, that is the wine of her form astray and leading people to hell. Yahuwah, his creation, is headed in the wrong direction, in spite of the fact that he sent his only begotten son, Yahush, to die on the stake for his creation, meaning Yahshua. Are y'all following me? So that they may have eternal life. People will see the Ahab of Yahush Mashiach come out of Babylon. Come out of Babylon. Once again, come out of Babylon, not America. This is important. You cannot say that America is Babylon, because America does not fit the criteria. Over there. Why? Because the media has been basically put in a position where they can't. Are you following me? That's why certain countries and certain places cannot, because they've already taken. It's important that we understand that. Are you following me? When we tell people come out of Babylon, you need to tell them come out of Saudi Arabia. Tell them come from those places. Now watch this. People are telling our people, get away, get out of America. I don't care. Now where are you going to send them? Oh, you're going to send them to the Islam countries, to the Islam states, to the Islam places. And that's just where they're going to, because you're telling people to leave without any direct, clear, precise instructions. That's very, very dangerous thing. Very dangerous. And if we ain't careful, once again, many of our people have said, I got to get out of America. But are you weighing out? Do you really know what's going on in these other places before you jump and leave? You're weighing this out. Once again, I am not. Please understand what I'm saying. I'm going to do that. But y'all, 2 and 3 people, because you have a mob of Islamic people coming and saying you don't deserve to live, so we're going to take you out. Wait. We're going to take you out. No, once again, I don't, it's hard. It's still heartbreaking to know that our people die. But you know what? I know that I'm here and this is my home. And until you move me and show me, how to move in the supernatural to be from this place and any other place, then I got to be still and build. And with that being said, you have an option. You have people that are living in truth here, or you go. That's why it is important that you court that place.
Done.
Okay, thank you. That you court that place. Court them. Court the community. Court the leadership. What I mean by courting, I'm talking about children becomes a real issue.
Right.
And we can't go. Y'all know in every movie, if you watch movies like we do, the first place that goes down is the city. You don't hardly see people in the country because don't nobody want to go out that far. They don't want to go to no man's land. But the bottom line is we've got to begin and prepare. And you have to begin somewhere. And like I say, you court, you get to know to them, you stick with them and let them stick with you. And if you have the means to buy land and to get it, then get it and get out of the city and prepare.
God.
Are y'all following me?
God.
Because that's, if you don't do it now, then when are you going to do it?
Right.
When it's too late? That's the worst time to try to do something. The worst time to try to do something is in the rain and you don't have an umbrella.
God.
That's the worst time to try to do something. But listen at this. 13, enter by the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leads to destruction, and there are many who go in it. Our people believe that we're supposed to have covenant relationships with everybody. With everybody. It doesn't matter the consequences. It doesn't matter what happens. All we are supposed to do is build a relationship. Y'all, that's not the case. Yeah.
God.
And this is where it becomes very dangerous. And that's why, as a people, we got to know what's going on. And we have to be prepared for Katrina in New Orleans. And more by world oil supply demand, plus not forgetting the war in Iraq and Afghanistan. Now, that was in that time. Now, imagine how much it is now. That's how come when we go and you driving on it. But y'all, the important thing is to understand the system and understand how this thing was created, why it was created. Everything that I've showed to you, or the majority of the stuff that I have shared with you onto y'all, has showed you from the writings that this is the place where the anti-Mashiach is coming from. It's fertile. It's ripe. And somebody said, but what do? We prepare, we dig in. One, we make sure that our lives are right and clean before the Abba. We make sure that everything we do to give him esteem, and we warn our people.
God.
Warn here and trillions here and billions here. What I say, how to start either fresh or continue doing what you've already been doing, and that's building. Building. That's making sure you have a place, a safe haven. If you got family members or you have family members that's walking in truth, and you know that you need to make some change, get out of the city, put together and build a plot, buy a plot of land. Now watch this. There are certain places you want to buy that land, but we'll talk about that at another time. But you want to buy it in a place where you're not surrounded. In other words, you want to know what's going on and what we ain't giving up and dying, but we're going to make the odds work in our favor. We're going to make it work in our favor by working smarter, not harder, and using wisdom. Because if we don't use that wisdom, guess what happens? We're going to fall prey to the enemy. My last verse here, and then we're going to close. I'm going into Proverbs. Let me find it. I think it's 22:3. A clever one foresees evil and hides himself, but the simple go on and are punished. We know that what's happening. Start stocking up on food. If you have not done it, it is not too late to do so. Make an effort to do something to prepare. And vegetables, same can of vegetables. We went again until we're able to get on our homestead and start growing our own food. Still got to eat until that stuff begins to produce. Start getting the stuff while you can, because there is going to be a shortage of food. And if you're not getting the things there, because now you got to try to do one or two things: either go to the enemy, and both of those are drastically wrong. Can't do it now while everybody and their mama ain't running trying to get it at the last minute. And that's the truth. You don't want to get in that, because if you do, it depends on where you are, and it depends on who you're in the presence of who they're going to give it to. With that being said, Biden has already showed us he ain't helping us. And we should have known that. I never voted for anybody, but you should have known that from the beginning. They only want your votes till they get in. And once they get in the office, you can hang it up. They ain't giving you nothing. Nothing, and a whole lot of it, a whole lot of nothing. But he's already shown by giving the Mexicans 50 or 55 grant money. When our people have been saying, all we asking you to do is give us some give us reparations, and he looked like, reparations? You ought to be glad you're still here. Y'all better understand that. Exactly. Water, and stock up. Yeah, stock up on water. Definitely, you better. Because if you don't stock up on water, there's going to come a time that when you go to get water, it's going to be restricted. Whereas you can go buy 2 now, maybe 3. If you can buy a water filtration thing, buy one. You can buy the straws, buy one. Get those straws for water. So in the event you may not be able to have fresh water where you are, you can filter it through your straw and you can still have fresh water. Y'all, it is not just, I believe it was in 2017 when Diablo gave me the push is on. Then he spoke to me and said, the move is on. Now, y'all, maintaining our identity. And at the same time, maintaining our identity, we're fighting to make sure that we are not pushed out and just discarded because we're not paying attention to what's going on. We're fighting to keep our belief, and we're fighting, not that we're trying to give up, and we're not giving up anytime soon or later. But you better understand something, battle. And so I encourage you, find places and start stocking up on stuff, even material. Just start stocking up on things. Start getting in your what you need to do to fortify your family. And if people are not willing to work with you, get with people that will. Because time is too short to be fighting folk. And it was these 2 antelope, and they up there faster and faster. Next thing you know, it's a lion. And while they were up there fighting one another, guess what? The lion took one of them out. Because they were fighting. I saw it one time and couldn't see it no more, because that was just gave me the chills. Because the other one, they were, tied up with the antlers, and they bucking and fighting. And that lion came and pounced on that one. I was like, I'm done. I can't see no more, because I felt so bad. I'm like, he up there fighting. You don't know who started the fight, but just know they're fighting. Yes, the lion got on them.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
I got third party.
Yes. They got us. I am Leah Yashua, and I'm the Mora of Messengers of Yahuwah, Kingdom, Hebraic Belief Congregation, located in South Carolina. I want you to remember here and Messengers of Yahuwah, Torah does the body excellent. Until next time, may Abba Yahuwah and keep you in his arm until we begin. Also, I want you to remember.
This is Champion TV.
Jamie. She said, I can jump.